have shied away from agriculture because it's higher risk. You have a lot of weather dependency. We have in Kenya lots of droughts and floods and diseases that can just wipe out crops and herds. So it's tough for them to justify the risk when their returns may not be as good compared to some of the other organizations that they can lend to, especially in the urban areas. I think so. The risk and then also the cost. Getting out to the rural areas is very expensive. The infrastructure in Kenya isn't very conducive to business. The roads are bad. Electricity isn't always prevalent in the rural areas, so the costs go up from serving these areas. So if you're an MFI and you want to be sustainable and grow quickly, the easy win to do is to focus on businesses in the urban areas. And that was our approach, is that, well, there's more there. There's a very big market. If you can do this sustainably in the rural areas and focus on agriculture, there's a much larger room for growth. But I think those are the two reasons why they've stayed away. The great advantage to asset financing, it's kind of like microleasing, is this that nature of an asset, and it's a productive asset. It's an asset that generates cash flow, that creates money from the sale of the milk or the sale of the eggs, which helps service the loans so they can make the payments on the loan. And then from us, it's a bit of a risk management because that asset becomes the collateral. If for some reason the farmer's not able to make the payments, we can then collect on the asset instead of going and collecting on their home or their land. I think it's a much more effective way of getting out to those rural areas where people do not have collateral, don't have assets, so we kind of created for them. As far as the sourcing of the asset, how that whole process works, we do a mix. For the cows, it's hard to find a good supplier of dairy cows that can reach all of our clients. So we will provide the loan to the farmer, who then can go out and source on their own the cow. Then our loan officer will come later and verify the breed and tag it for the insurance. But some of the other assets, there's a lot of our farm equipment, we have very good relationships with suppliers who can distribute to the rest of Kenya. And so we'll provide the loan to the farmer, but we'll pay the supplier directly, and then they'll deliver the piece of equipment. If it's a chaff cutter that cuts the feed for the cows, or a grinding mill that's there, and we also will get a discount that way. So I think as we go forward, it's nice having those relationships with the suppliers as we grow, because then we can even get a better deal than if the farmer was to buy it directly, if they come through us. Of the group's interest for this farmer to get a very good cow, healthy, high-yield cow, yeah, and our loan officers will help. We'll put them in touch with the local breeders and the Ministry of Livestock, who have access to a lot of these better breeds. So we'll do that, but the actual transaction is done from the farmer. That will provide the loan and say, all right, you go out and negotiate and buy that from them.